every night on the Halos in the Infield Baseball Network.
Think about it. We'll get into everything that we're going to get into as we go along, but I got to rant real quick. But why would you throw out an inexperienced pitcher in a game you're still close in? And I don't care what the record is. You show up for a fucking rivalry game. But he's actually talking to him constantly. That is a sign of a really, really good coach.
It's the ToddFox Postgame Podcast with your host, ToddFox.
Because the only thing I want to yell is fuck! Boy, oh boy, I want to yell so much more. And my throat hurts, and I just came on. So this is the Halos in the Infield postgame show with your host, ToddFox. I am in tonight on a loss in Houston. And boy, oh boy, we will get into that because if you thought this was a rarity, no. We are now 23-42 after the year of 2014, the last time that we have had a winning record in the city of Houston. So before I get into all that, 714 Tickets is the place to go to get your tickets 10% off by going to the Apply Now code and putting in HITI. Gets you 10% off. It also gets you in the running for another free jersey via Halos in the Infield, plus additional 5% off your next purchase. Plus, check out Noble Ale Brewing and mention HITI or just Halos in the Infield, and you get $1 off of any pint that you get there moving forward. Now, as I choke and cough, that is the universal symbol of the team or the sound of the Angels hitting with runners in scoring position. There is so much to talk about tonight, but I'm going to take it one step at a time. So hang along for the ride because this is going to be a more animated fucking post game than usual. Top of the second, the Angels score on a Jared Walsh RBI single. You take a 1-0 lead. Sound familiar? Bottom of the second, you can't even hold it 5 minutes. Let's give it right back as Jose Abreu, one of the worst fucking acquisitions of any free agent team this season. He's having a Rendon season. 1 home run, 20 RBIs, but not with Rendon's average. It's more like 211. But hey, Maldonado's not in the lineup, so we have to make some jackass hitting lower than 220 look good. Well, Jose Abreu's that guy. Ties it up, 1-1. Brandon Drury comes through after missing a home run earlier in the game, falling just short. Tags one to left. 2-1, hitting it way over the train tracks. Celebration, right? Nah, I can't hold it for more than 5 minutes. Here comes the fucking Houston Astros again. Leadoff double. Yonder Diaz then singles. Who's Yonder Diaz? Who the fuck knows? But he gets a hit. And guess what? We're tied at 2. Moving on, the Angels have guys in scoring position. Can't get him on. Same old, inning after inning. Stays at 2. Then Alex Bregman comes in with the bases loaded. And an opportunity, once again. And guess what he does? Singles up the middle. And I'm not even getting to how they're getting all these guys on base. Because for the most part, Reed was dealing. But we'll get to that in a second. So it's 4-2 at this point. Angels in the 7th inning. Get a couple guys on. Even get the bases loaded. Questionable calls. Ward is up there with 1 out. Here is your game. Literally, I told my dad, if we do not score in this inning, we're going to lose. We are straight up, we're going to lose. Because 4-2 seems like 14-2. We are not going to get the lead. So what happens? Ward comes up and has a hell of a good at-bat. I have nothing to say about his at-bat. His at-bat was good. Now, up until this point, you can yell, scream, kick, and claw because Detmers got squeezed a lot by that umpire, and it seemed like the Astros weren't getting squeezed as much. But that being said, put that aside, he makes up for it if he just calls it how it should be. And I'm one of these traditionalists that will sit here and tell you till I'm black and blue in the face that there's no way that I want a RoboCop umpire. I don't want it. I want the realism of a professional umpire. But when they do shit like this, blatantly and one-sided. It's one thing if he's calling it for both sides, but there were several times in this game the pitch was way off on the left, way off inside, way off down low, and Ward's was down low by at least a foot, or maybe 6 to 8 inches. That was ball 4. That one goes ball 4. We're talking 4-3 now, with Mike Trout giving you an opportunity, and most likely he doesn't have that shitty at bat and probably puts one into the outfield to tie it up, and then Ohtani will give you the shitty at bat afterwards, and we're tied. At least we're tied. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe ToddFox is an asshole, and maybe Trout is better than God himself and Jesus Christ combined, and he hits a fucking home run, and guess what? Because of that umpire, we lose the lead. Or maybe Trout works a walk, and then Ohtani comes up as Jesus Christ, and then he hits a home run, and then the game's over, and we win. But we'll never know. Because you have some jackass umpire with either a vendetta or fucking poor eyesight, worse than my father and his one eye. Even my dad could have called that a fucking ball. And he saw it in real time. Said ball 4. What? And he was yelling at the screen. That's one eye. And his good eye is about at 70%. Not even 100%. It was bullshit from the start. And I was able to forgive all the past balls earlier in the game. But for the love of God, 23 and 41 coming into this game. Give us a fucking break. It seemed like every shot except one of theirs, which was off the bat of Abreu earlier in the game that barely went foul. Most of their shit was getting inside the line. They were getting all the right hits. Angels were just missing on Ward almost hitting a grand slam, or at least hitting one off that short perch. Fraction here, a fraction there. Even the ball that got past that Bregman hit, it didn't take the hop into Gio's glove at third. If it takes the right hop or the right bounce, Gio gloves it, throws it to second, inning over, tied it 2. But every time, Houston is a house of horrors where it always goes against the Angels. Either we fuck it up, or they take it from us, or they get whatever they need from the umpires to help save the game. So then that turns us over to Ben Joyce, who could then come in the 7th inning, and he rocked it. 1, 2, 3. You know, the lucky hit like he gave up in the last appearance? You know, the guy just reached out there and poked at it. For the most part, they can't get anything solid off of him. That's great. He made Alvarez look pathetic in the box. That's what you want. And they got out of that inning, go to the 8th inning, strand a couple more runners. Typical Angels. And then right away, bottom of the 8th. Why? Okay, this is an organizational thing. You have plenty of arms. You can't tell me you pitched all of those arms prior to this game and you had none of them available. Even if Loop is the last guy, you don't use him right there. I would bring back Brett Phillips in this situation. He doesn't give a shit. Did you not see his reaction after allowing that RBI double? He just faked the throw back to second and was smiling. He does not care. We have young arms up here for a reason. If you're willing to throw a guy like Ben Joyce in a situation where the game is still 4-2, I'm good with that because of the stuff he brings to the table. Sam Bachman, why not throw him out there? Why not even bring in Davinsky? Keep it a 2-run game. Give it a chance. Because for the love of God, this season is now about, instead of talking about, let's get guys on base, let's move guys, stuff I've been preaching. You have been preaching at home when you're yelling at the TV like I am. Why can't we get more guys on base? Why can't we get the hit with runners in scoring position? But no, feeding into the narrative of philosophy, and I hate to say it because I love you, Gooby, but now you're starting to get and channel your inner Patrick O'Neill, and you're like, hey, this guy gets on, Urshela can tie it. How about, again, get a guy on, hit and run, or steal a fucking base, stay out of the double play, work another walk, get a hit, and continue the merry-go-round and score more than just the 2 runs to tie. So even if they do tie, you're on the road, you're setting yourself up for an extra inning loss because you don't know how to manage in extra innings, you don't know how to play in extra innings, you don't know how to bunt in extra innings. So why not play for the lead? So it just boggles my mind that again, our announcers are feeding into the stupid-ass narrative that this team loves to carry. But kudos to Rendazzo, who actually comes out there and says, hey, you know what? This team can't hit. It's got one of the lowest runners in scoring positions after the 7th inning. They got one of the lowest averages. That should tell you this should give you a fucking clue and tell you something. If you cannot hit past the 7th inning, all those times I've been saying Trout's not clutch, Ohtani hasn't been good, Renfroe can't come through in the clutch, and calling out players, it's true. Why is it the other team, no matter what jersey they wear, can adjust to us and hold us down and shut us down for multiple innings after the 4th inning? They're saying, oh, well, he scores so many runs in the beginning of the game. Well, why don't we do it when it counts? That's why this team is nearly 500 again. Because you can't get the big hit. It's always like, oh, we're going to leave it up to this guy to get. Oh, leave it to this guy. No one wants to be a leader. No one wants to change their approach to the plate. It's just do the same shit you were doing earlier in the game. Well, hello? People adjust. Teams adjust. And they put the camera for the first time. For the first time on Marcus Thames. For the first time. They show, hey, this guy's not getting it done with the players. Well, duh! We would have seen something different from the only thing I could tell you that I've seen from this team outside of what they've done all season is that last year's team would muster a 2-run maybe scoring tonight or 1 run. They give us 1. And they would have 3 hits and we'd lose 5-1. The only difference is we scored 1 more run and had almost a dozen more hits. This is not the first time. I want to go back and I'm going to do some research. And I'm going to look up every game that we've played. And tell you every game that we out-hit the opponent and still lost. Because look at this. Again, 2 runs, 11 hits. Past the 5th inning is the last time we scored. We went 4 innings blank when we needed to. We gave up the 3 right away to give them the lead. Because God forbid we can hold a lead. And we gave up an extra insurance run in the 8th inning. So 2 runs on 11 hits. They had 5 on 9. Let's compare runners in scoring position. Angels, 2 for 12 tonight. Another stellar performance. 13 men left on base. Via walk, via hit. Let's look at the Astros real quick. Why does this team win World Series? Why do they do the things they do? And I hate this. I hate comparing us to 2 teams. Organizational-wise, we are shitfucks compared to the Dodgers. As a team and what they strive to do on a nightly basis and how their team is run, we're shitfucks to the Astros. The Astros, 3 for 9. You would say, hey, that's not that great. Yeah, it is. 3 for 9, they made those 3 count, scoring the 5 runs. 9 opportunities, they only left 6 men on base. Judging by that math, if they were to have had 12 men on base, left on base, with about 3 to 5 more scoring opportunities, they would have at least gotten 2 to 3 more hits, meaning they would have blown us out of the fucking water. That should tell you something that this pitching staff, this bullpen, I'd be raising hell right now. Yeah, I'm Reed Detmers and I lost it a little bit, but anyone knows you didn't lose this game with 9 men opposing you. You lost this game with 10 men opposing you. The blue was against you. And you know what? I give Reed Detmers all the credit in the world for keeping his composure. I give Nevin, who I've given a D as a manager this year, at least a B for coming out there and freaking yelling at the umpire and saying his 2 words. But where the fuck were you the other night when they were hitting Drury 3 times in the 9th inning of a game that was already over? Nowhere. So as fast as I give you that grade, that's just for today. You're still a D in my opinion right now as a manager this year. You've helped run this ship into the fucking shore because you're not doing your job on a nightly basis. The whole direction of this team is ass right now. It just boggles my mind how you can't put together a string of hits and there still has to be this launch angle. Bases loaded earlier in the game. Ohtani, what's he doing? Strike one, swinging at a foul ball inside. Strike two, swinging at a foul ball at his feet. Strike three, trying to reach and poke at something that was easily in the dirt. Hunter Renfroe swinging at something that bounces before the home plate. Yes, he had 3 hits tonight. But again, where was this before? Other hitters, Trout up there. Lets one right down the middle. What does he swing at? Pitch inside on the hands. Twice. Popping up. There has to be an accountability on this team. There just got to be. This is too much of a coincidence for this shit to continue night in and night out. Same approaches at the plate. And you'll get one guy here, one guy there adjusting to whatever they pitch him. Like Zach Neto. There's so many holes on this team. So many things that this team needs to fix that are fixable. Like early in the game, if you want to get on say, hey man, don't let Detmers go. Okay, well, and he had an 0-2 count earlier and a chance to get out of an inning to Altuve. He starts a rally because he throws that pitch up over the zone, like belt high, or I think it was even jersey high. Why? Why would you throw a pitch 0-2 right down the middle? You're not Ben Joyce. You're a guy who relies on his off speed to get strikeouts. Throw it down in the dirt. Waste a pitch. No, the Angel pitchers are like, nah, let's challenge him with about an 82-mile-per-hour fastball. Yeah, that'll work. Literally, when you're having better at-bats, once again, from Theis, who can barely see, let's just face it, who is high as fuck, that guy's working walks. He doesn't fall for those sliders inside. He's like, dude, that's too close. I'm not swinging. And it works. He works a walk. Or he waits for it to be, he's like, here it comes. Oh, there he goes. I got a single. I'm loving his approach to the plate. Zach Neto, same thing. Gio Urshela had a bit of an off night, but let's be frank. He's your best hitter. Why are we talking about Gio Urshela, Zach Neto, and Theis? Why? Because a free agent acquisition like Renfroe had a real shitty May. Shohei only swings to hit home runs. Mike Trout can't catch a fastball. And Ward is barely hitting his weight. And we still don't. And Walsh is like lost up there at times. Sometimes he has good at bats, working it full. But again, he still sits there and takes strike 3. And he has no drive on the bat right now. No power whatsoever. Your main guys are supposed to be carrying this team. I'm not even throwing Rendon in there anymore. He's become another Urshela, where he can work walks and get hits and sacrifices. Okay, that's your role now. $38 million Plan B player. But, dude, for the love of God, your main hitters, your main guys who are supposed to carry you, don't do shit on a nightly basis. And when they do, we praise the fuck out of them like the other day in Chicago. Like, yeah, woo! Forget all about that Ohtani was struggling like shit. All of a sudden, he's got 2 home runs in a game. He's the greatest of all time. Mike Trout, yeah, baby, that's our boy. He's catching fire. Well, you can do it in Chicago with a whack-ass bullpen and a whack-ass starting rotation. Should have swept their asses, by the way. But Houston, we have a problem. The power goes out every time we go there. Every time. Yet Houston can do whatever the fuck they want and beat us straight up. But let's get into our awards tonight, because tonight's going to be a little different. Tonight's not going to be your exact, the awards like, or I give it to multiple guys, or I give it to, a Houston Astro or something like that. No, I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I'm going to give it to, you'll see. The John Stamos Award for the best player on the field tonight did not wear a jersey. His name is Stu Sherwater, the guy who resembles me, as I was told by a few people, in the face. If you look at him very closely, and when I'm cleanly shaven, we kind of resemble each other. The umpire, the home plate umpire, gets player of the game. Why would you say that, Todd? You can't pick an umpire to be the player of the game. Well, damn right I can. Because he was given extra strikes and extra room around that square, and the strike zone expanded every time you threw the ball with a white jersey. But damn you, if you wore that gray jersey, you did not get the same kind of comfort zone that the other pitcher got. And when you needed a strikeout, by God, I'm going to give it to you. So when the Angels aren't falling flat on their face like Drury the other day, tripping over their own fucking feet, and not being able to stay out of their own way to lose games, and when philosophy's not fucking up a game by bringing in Loop or taking out the wrong guys or substitutions that make no sense or putting a guy who still can't hit his weight as leadoff, the 10th men are no longer the manager tonight. He wasn't the problem. It was the umpire. You had to battle 9 guys, including the guy behind you, calling balls and strikes. So he gets the John Stamos Award tonight for the best player on the field because he made you believe he was a real umpire and an unbiased umpire at that. That's why, because that was some great fucking acting. Great acting. I mean, we've seen some assholes out there like Country Joe West, and I forget the other guy's name. True assholes. I mean, if you look up assholes in baseball in the dictionary, or who's a asshole baseball player, or something to do with assholes, it has Country Joe West. Fuck that guy. Nobody misses him. The same thing with that other cheap-ass umpire that's going around the league. They always make fun of. But this guy's a general nobody. And he called one of the worst games I've seen all year that affected it. Look, if he's doing this in a 7-0 blowout, I don't care. Oh, Angel Hernandez. Thank you, Chair. Angel Hernandez is another asshole. But you bring up this guy who again, Stu Sherwater. And Stu Sherwater is your freaking guy. I mean, right now, he should get props from the Houston Astros. That call with this paper-thin, skinned team, you knew it was going to destroy them. It took all the air out of the balloon. Any kind of freaking momentum they had was gone because this paper-thin team can't respond to adversity. They just can't. You can't hit with this team. It's pretty pathetic. It is pretty pathetic. So now let's get into our Nacho Night Award.
All the chips, all the cheese, all the refried beans, all the onion and tomato and the guacamole, all the beef and jalapeno and the sour cream, all the nachos.
Now, some may be saying, well, he made a weird decision for the Stamos Award. What's he going to do for the Nacho Night? Remember I said it's going to be a little different on both ends tonight. Well, let's start it out like this. Who would you pick as the Nacho Man tonight? I think it's easy to say in a 4-2 game, you don't blame the offense. The adversity, the spotlight goes on right on Aaron Loop. And I would say for the most part, you're right. You can say that hitting, you can blame the bats. You can say, what the hell, Marcus Thames, he should be the Nacho guy. In honor of Paul Sorrento, the former hitting coach. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm not going to give it to Aaron Loop, although he was pathetic and the worst possible decision to bring in a 2-run game. The only thing better was if it was 2-2 and they decided to bring in, Aaron Loop. But no. And no, Fernando, it's not the umpire. It's not Phil Nevin. It's Perry Manassian. Oh? Why Perry Manassian, you'd say? Why the fuck is Loop still on the team? He's the only one that can pull the trigger. What more do you need to see from Aaron Loop to know that he's not a major league pitcher anymore? Let alone a major league pitcher that should be anywhere in a game that's either up 5 or down 5. The guy is dog shit. We have at least a half dozen to a dozen players combined with Rocket City, the IC team, or Inland Empire team, IC team, and freaking Trash Pandas combined that we could bring up here and we'll do better. Yet once again, we're sucking on the teat of Perry Manassian with Aaron Loop, and we have to see his dumbass smile every fucking time he gives up a run. Again, I can say about any other pitcher on this squad, bullpen or starter, that if they're hungry and they get it, for the most part, when they're giving up runs, what do? They yell into their freaking glove. They say a couple cuss words. They're pissed off. Loop just doesn't seem to give a shit. You thought you didn't like the apathy from Tapera. Do you not see the grin, the Joker grin? Every time he gets pulled from a game after allowing runs, pours gas on the fire. He has no accountability. He's like, I've already been paid. I made my mark tonight. I get paid. Nobody cares. Or he doesn't care. Again, I'd rather pull up rookies that actually want to fight for a position. Most of these pitchers I trust to get outs. And even if they give up runs, they're not like the type of mistakes that Loop does. You know, of course none of these pitchers are perfect. Of course we're going to see Ben Joyce get tattooed at some point. And we've seen Estevez, who looks darn near unhittable, be tattooed and give up a home run like he did in Chicago. It happens. But you know what doesn't happen? They don't continue those performances. They get right back on the hill the next time, short-term memory, get the outs, and prove themselves once again. Again, we know these guys aren't going to be perfect. But this asshole comes out every time, and it's the same shit. Nothing changes. He may get an out or two here, but he's still leaving the ball too high up in the zone. Guys are still driving the ball. He's still walking guys, still falls behind. Every time. And again, the last time he came off the DL, I thought, okay, they're bringing him in. They're up big. Who cares? Whatever. Sort of like what they did with Tucker Davidson. That guy's been trashed too. I mean, if only Quijada would have stayed healthy, and if only freaking Moore would have stayed healthy, we could have DFA'd both of these bums. So, I mean, those are the two guys that, unfortunately, are your only left-handed pitchers right now, and we're stuck with both of them. Both of them. And this is a series, once again. This is the Houston Astros. This is a 4-game set against a really good team. The world champions, a team that you struggle against. Which if we lose, and you know, here's the other thing I didn't even get into. We're like 27 minutes in, and I haven't mentioned one time that Farmer, our guy, Farmer Valdez, he didn't even start tonight. He got pushed back. This was a spot start. A fucking spot start. And you still only managed 2 runs off the guy. And you left a shit ton of guys on base. It's like every other team that comes into Houston. Yes, Houston has a home field advantage there. But I've seen all kinds of teams, no matter the record, can score in that is considered a hitter's ballpark, right? Did the Angels not get the memo? Do they not know that's a hitter's ballpark? Do you not know that you could drive the ball off that wall? Do you not know you could work walks and you know, hit it over the center fielder's head, run for a long time? Right field porch is super close. Do you know? I mean, our pitchers know about it because they do their best to pitch. I mean, except when Reed was leaving the one up in the zone, except when dumbass Loop almost gave a home run. But for the most part, our pitchers know that if you're going to win in Houston, you got to keep the ball down. And when they keep the ball down, they keep the score down. but our offense is like, whoa, that's down the middle. Hell no, I ain't swinging at that. So what do you expect to do with a pitch in the dirt? Yet our players are like, yeah, let's swing at it. You're not Vladimir Guerrero. You can't hit a ball on a hop. Yet all of our players love them fucking sliders. Right-handers, left-handers, they don't give a shit. If it's down the middle, that no bueno. You do that to Houston, they're putting it in the seats. You do that to our stupid-ass team, we're like, oh, come on, we got 2 more of those. Throw me another one. Watch me stand there again. But anything, there is no protecting the plate with this team. I swear to God. It is so frustrating. I'm laughing. Seriously. I mean, you really think that over time this team would understand something. Now, before I get into comments, I want to show you something from last year. Last year's lineup at this time, this exact date last time, we were in the middle of that 14-game losing streak. Taylor Ward was your leadoff. We're still fucking with that problem, aren't we? Ohtani was your number 2. Gotta get more bats. Mike Trout was your 3. He wasn't injured yet, so we didn't have him on load management. Guess who was 4th? Our 4th place hitter was the great school teacher himself, Matt Duffy. And then you had Louis Renifo hitting 5th. And then you had Jared Walsh hitting 6th. If you can't hit cleanup behind Mike Trout and you're bumped for Duffy and Renifo, god damn you were having a bad year last year, Walsh. And then who's protecting Walsh? Why, it's throw the ball in the center field himself, Kurt Suzuki. And what about that guy who didn't work the first time you had him? So let's bring him back a second year, Juan Lagares. And then everyone's favorite, because I know you have a jersey. I got a jersey of him. Hell, his jersey sells out at freaking Anaheim Stadium. Because why? He's Squiddy Poo. And remember Joe Madden last year was smoking such a huge bowl of pot. He's like, you know what? We're gonna go on a road trip and we're gonna dress like Squid. Dumbest shit ever. Joe Madden, talk about the game passed him by. Let's all imitate a guy who can't bat 200. Yeah, that's team chemistry right there. Forget about let's mock Mike Trout and dress like him. Forget about let's dress like Shohei Ohtani or Sandoval or someone that's actually important to the team. No. Let's pick our worst player and dress like him. And not only that, he can hit 200 all year and play over 100 games. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, that was our team last year. That team would have mustered 1 run, maybe 1 hit, maybe 2 hits today. This team, far better roster, far better lineup, no excuses, critical year. You leave 12 men on, you only score 2 runs on 11 hits. That's pathetic. That is absolutely pathetic. Pathetic. You wonder why, Artie, and everyone else that covers this team, because I used to wonder why until last year. But you wonder why there's such an apathy in these comments right here. Just in these comments. Go to any other Angels page on Facebook, Instagram, wherever you choose, Periscope, whatever fucking social media you use. Twitter even. Twitter's brutal. Just think. Try to channel your inner Halo honk and try to go on there and try to be positive. Just try it for a minute and watch how many fans turn on you. But with absolute facts. Because it's hard to back this, hey, the season starts tomorrow. What the fuck are you talking about? You can't have that mindset. You can't say these games are early anymore. You couldn't say that halfway through May. Hell, you couldn't say that at the end of April. These games are crucial. Oh, but Todd, you lost the first game. We could sweep the next 3. Based on what? Based on what? What track record does this team give you to believe that we could just take the next 3? Based on what? Oh, we beat Chicago 2 out of 3. Oh, big fucking deal. You should have swept them. If we're a team that's considering ourselves a postseason team, where is the heart in this team? Where's the consistency in this team? Where's the leadership in this team? I'll wait. Because I've been waiting since 2014. We don't have any of those 3 qualities. And it is so sad to see this team pitch actually good. And a guy like Reed Detmers is getting the Patrick Sandoval treatment this year. Absolutely. Getting the Patrick Sandoval treatment. He can't buy a win. He can't buy one. It's fucking pathetic. Jason says, why the hell did we take Joyce out for Loop? Because you can only pitch him 1 inning. You can only pitch him 1 inning. Remember, load management. Sean says you got to give Trout and Ohtani the nachos. Not tonight. Home plate umpire gets the Nacho 9. No, he got the Stamos. Minapi says, who knew the Astros were paying the umps and prepare for the World Series this early? Jason says, Joyce was killing it. Leave him in there, still proven otherwise. Why don't you play your hot hand? Because you can't pitch him more than one inning. God forbid you do that. You can pitch some of these other pitchers 2 innings, like they'll let Davinsky do it, they'll let Silseth do it, but God forbid you use any of these young guys. And they went out there and they used, because he was a starter before, Bachman. If Loop isn't DFA'd, I'll literally lose my shit. Well, there you go. I lost my shit tonight. You don't want to overexpose Joyce, Sean says. Anna says Stu Sherwater should be banned from umpiring. He was terrible. Martin says, you really think the Angels are going to make the postseason? They can't beat the Stros or the Rangers. Again, these games we talked about, you do not play them 19 times anymore. It's been cut in half. So all these division games are crucial. Yet you lose to Oakland, you lose to Seattle, you lose to Texas, you lose to Houston, and you wonder why you're sitting 6.5 games out of first place. You have to handle your division first. And again, I hate referencing the Dodgers, but the Dodgers beat the shit out of that cakewalk division every year. There's a reason why they win their division and they're able to walk into the postseason. April 1st, or whenever they decide to start the regular season, March 31st or whatever, they can always play that first game, win or lose, and say we're winning the division. That's how pathetic that division is. Super pathetic. Yet we know what we have to do here. Let's prepare for it. Nah, let's not do that. Phil Nevin, get the F out of here, Jesus says. I think Loop will be DFA'd tomorrow. We'll see about that. Loop is so ass, Joey says. 2 for 12 is insane. And restunning, it's one thing. To be 2 for 12 one night and then come back with like a 6 out of 13 or something like that to where it looks manageable. You know, you're not going to tear the cover off the ball every night. But when you follow that up with a 1 for 10, a 1 for 8, you see why the team is where they are. Jason says if Joyce goes 3 and out and you bring in Loop, what the fuck? Exactly. It's like, let's use our best showcased pitcher for our worst right after. Let's see. Eddie Perez says we need a robo umpire. I hate the human error. Jason says Joyce had it under control. Give it to Joyce a chance to prove himself, but no fucking Nevin brings in the Loop. Now, okay, you can argue that all you want, Jason. We still got to hit. You still got to hit. Before we brought Jason in there, before we brought our boy in there, we stranded the bases loaded, and we lost the momentum. Our boy tried to get it back for us, only for us to do nada in the 8th inning. You still got to hit. So even if you leave Joyce in there in the 8th inning, in the 9th inning, you're still going to lose 4-2. Let's just say he just blows through all 9 hitters he faced. You're still going to lose 4-2. That's on the hitting. They can fire if they want. The Angels need to fire Mike Scioscia. Oh, yeah, I think he's calling for this certain, our boy right here, Roger Log right here.
Anymore. I just can't. And they can fire me if they want, but I can't sit around and listen to negative phone call after negative phone call. If you're a so-called Angel fan, if you're a Halo hog for life like me,
then shut up.
With Scioscia's gotta go. It's this guy's fault. It's that guy's fault. Forget it. Let it go. We got a lot of baseball left to be played, and the season starts tonight.
You know, I have a feeling that, Roger, if this season goes on the way it does, no matter what happens with Shohei, no matter how many games we're out of first place, in late September, he's going to be like, we got a lot of baseball to go. It's September 16th. We've got a ton of baseball. The season starts tonight. We're 12 games out with 12 games to play, and we're 0-0. Its season starts tonight. Shut the hell up. Wayne Bryan says Loop needs to be DFA'd as soon as possible and simply taking up extra space which his team can't afford. And Drizzle says 0-5 for Detmers is well-deserved. He leads with most hits, 0-2 account. He did have that, and that is actually, like you said, absolutely unacceptable. And why do you think he leads in this category? Because they're always trying to get that K. You know what, Ann Drizzle? He doesn't have that out pitch, and you're right. Also, MLB needs robot umps. Let's go. Halo Pod says at Halo Joy or at Joyce is a rookie in the game in June. There's no need for him to pitch more than 1 inning. Agree that it should have been any more, but Loop is at the same time no need to ruin Joyce. Exactly. I'm with you right there. Let's go Halos pod, because I wouldn't want to pitch him anymore. We're just getting him into it. But still the whole thing behind it is you don't follow up a great performance with a shit can, oil can, gas can type of performance afterwards. Angel's grandma says, looks like my prediction was wrong. Hopefully we will get 3 out of 4. Jason says, I'm so mad that we paid Loop what we paid him. Exactly. Let's go Halo Pod says, Brockman over Loop would have been worth a shot. Agreed. Another good point. Fabio says, I feel like our manager shouldn't throw Loop out there unless we are down 10. Exactly. The umps favored Houston all game long, Anna says. Also, Jason says, but if Joyce 1-2-3 keeps his ass in, especially when he strikes out 1-2-3 Altuve, you keep at it, seeing him how he is. Now, again, I agree. You don't want to overexpose him. It's not like he threw 35 pitches. You might have thrown him out there for another out or two, maybe even try to get a quick inning. But again, you still got to score. 13 men left, Anna says. Astros by JT says, found a new way to cheat. Jack Chandler says, losers. Laugh out loud. It's every year. No such thing as clutch hit. Exactly. And that's the thing that I hate seeing about your team. I hate being the guy posting those arty pictures and making fun of him, making fun of the hitters, because that's what it's come down to. Non-Man says, Joyce threw only 10 pitches. Why don't you keep him in? No one can tell me to take out Joyce. He was looking so close close to a veteran. He's only had 2 starts or 2 situations. And Drizzle says, there's no way Loop stays on this team. Motherfucker always allows at least 1 run. Why didn't Nevin use Loop last game? And when they were up by 8 runs, I don't get it, Todd. And I'm right there with you. I don't get it either. You know Nevin's coaching from behind. He's busting his what's the guy on Bally's? Yeah, with a mustache. He did that too. Told my dad that Loop came out, game over. Yep, Vetter. There you go. Ward out, jogging in the fucking ball. Also, let's see. Also, Anna says Grillmaster will be a half hour away. Yes, Davinsky, fuck Loop. Exactly. It's your boy says, damn, I wish I could send y'all a super chat. Thought I would be able to. And Drizzle says Nevin needs to get his head out of his ass, please. Pissed me off that they won't can him to the end of the season. Detmer's down bad. Joey Avalos says Loop has naked pics of Nevin, apparently. Wayne tells it how it is. Also, Detmer's had a solid game. What the fuck are you talking about? No reason why we shouldn't have scored more runs this goofball and trash throws had on the mound. Exactly. He was a spot starter. Loop must be blowing Nevin because he's still in there. Jason says Ohtani had the bases loaded and expanded to the zone himself. Ohtani swings only for the power and nothing else. Yes, no contact. There's no excuse of, oh, you can't pull the ball because the shift. You've got an open right side. Use it. Vetter says DFA Loop and Herget also, or bring up Herget. Eddie says it's time that we see that we can get Ohtani and try to trade him, see what we can get. $600 million man swinging at shit in the dirt, clown. Let's go. Halo says leave Herget down. He ain't got it either. Bring up Yovan. You know what? I would take Herget because he's been working on stuff, but also Yovan hasn't been given an opportunity yet. He's been flirting with the majors and never gotten a chance yet. So why not see him up here? Hey, Jesus says Dusty Baker is now the 8th all-time winningest manager so far, and it came against the Angels. Halos Forever says, I get your frustration. Halos have been beat the best 2 players in baseball, and what do? They strike out with the bases loaded. That's 4 runners in scoring position. Exactly. He finally stood up for the guys. Tonight was Nevin. Blasphemous to still even have Loop on this roster. Just got here. ToddFox, what are your thoughts on the bad umpire call? Already gave those. Ohtani doesn't care about the money. Do you think the underperforming to blame the Angels as a scapegoat to leave? It could be, but I think it's more him putting pressure on himself. And then he's trying to hit all the home runs all the time. You don't need to do that. I'd rather this guy have like 23 home runs, 120 RBIs, like guys used to do, and bat 320 like guys used to do. And if he's going to pitch on the mound, then we'll see what he does after that. Choke up and shorten your swing and put the ball in play, Joey Avalos says. I agree. Hayes says, Hayes theory, Theis is so high, lifetime for him is in slow-mo, so bro can read the pitches a lot better the rest of the roster. And you know what? He's doing a really good job at throwing guys out, too. He's actually got a rocket of an arm. Freaking Detmers can't have a good inning for the 3rd time through. He always also leads the majors in giving up 0-2 hits. We talked about that earlier. Fernando says, have fun getting the photo of this Stamos graphic. This one's on you. I'll get that one. Trust me, I got it. Angel Hernandez, hi everyone. Landon says in Artie's voice, I will DFA Loop. I will DFA Loop and bring up balls, and Mike Trout because he was balls tonight, dude. Because he can't lay off the high ones.
Hey, Kit! Lay off of those high ones.
I like the high one.
Mule?
Next.
That's Ohtani and Trout talking to each other.
Tonight, it's time for you to check out what I want. I want balls and John Stamos.
Justin says it's time to trade Ohtani. He always falls through clutch. And told you, 2 out Angels. Johnny B. Good says. Landon says, "Welp, season over. The Roger Lodge will start tomorrow." Nacho Knight goes to the umpire. I was listening to the game. JT said Phil Nevin. Yeah, he did get ejected, but so what? You know, so what? His calls are worse than whatever happened behind the plate because the way he places players, the way he brings pitchers in, he sucks. Because every time he makes those dumbass moves for a freaking loop, I'm saying to myself,
"Oh shit, here we go again."
Little Wayne says, but you forget Loop was Perry's main bullpen signing, and Perry can easily admit Epler's faults, but not his own. Agreed. Loop goes loopy every time he goes on. Be a goldfish, Ted Lasso. Exactly. Forget your last appearance. Go out there and dominate. Ryan says, Aaron Poop must have a sensitive photo of one of the people in the front office, probably of our boy Sereno. Loop said he pitched like a bitch in the beginning of the season. Dude never lied. Fuck him. He should say that every night then. Davidson is not going through. He's not going, though. He sucks because he's Perry's acquisition. Yeah, Terry, too. He tried to get those Braves players. Farmer is gonna effing carve us up tomorrow, and Drizzle says. I can't disagree. Farmer always destroys the goats of Anaheim. Jason says, Todd and Fernando, I really hope Joyce becomes our K-Rod. I hope so too. I like your shit, Todd. Thank you, Juan. Or shirt. Shit. I'm sorry, Juan. I'm trying to read these comments super fast. I apologize. Thank you for the compliment. It's a freaking flannel in a hot room here, which I forgot to turn on the AC when it came in. I have an AC that just works above me, and I always forget. I'm like, make sure this is ready. Make sure that's ready. And then I forget the damn AC every time, and I'm like, God damn it, it's hot in here. Little Wayne, or Sean says that Little Wayne, Perry also got a draft choice. Stop it, bro. Oh, geez. Don't go back and forth on each other. Now's not the time to fight, people. And Drizzle says Nevin is a fucking joke. It was clear right away after he did not do shit to change the team after Madden left. I agree. I love Squiddy Poo. Vetter says. Jesus says walk-off Bees win 3 games in a row. That's good. At least that's some good news. Thank you for that. Based on opium as far as them trying to get hits. Squiddy Poo was our leader. No, he wasn't. How dare you? I have to say that because how dare you?
How dare you?
Just mentioning Squiddy Poo gives me
emotional damage.
And I want to call this team
Yeah, well, that team sure did suck last night. They just plain sucked. I've seen teams suck before, but they were the suckiest bunch of sucks that ever sucked.
Todd, the old faithful Angel fans are more negative like you and I, Todd. Been fans since the early 80s. We've been through so much with one team. We expect so much that we hurt ourselves and are so sick of it. Exactly. We do it to ourselves, man, because we believe they're freaking hype. You would think Mike Trout being a dad would turn him into a leader on the Angels dugout. Guess not. Dad power 20% this season. Greg says Trout does not do well under pressure. Maybe time to bat him first in the lineup, like Mike Scioscia once said. He's a terrific leadoff hitter. Detmir says a 5.5 ERA. No defending him. Let's see. Yvette says bye Ohtani. Tommy Chin says, oh goddamn load management. Are you serious? Hay says if Ohtani wants to leave, so fucking be it. I don't really mean it, but at the same time I do. There you go. Loop equals one more run. Jason says, yeah, absolutely. Got to keep that offense. Loop drools when Ben Joyce pitches, wishes him well. It's your boy says someone on Twitter made a good point. We should complain about Trout not having help and Ohtani too, but now that they have some pieces around them, we can never get them to help out when it matters. Exactly. Be careful what you wish for, because when you finally get it, you better freaking come through. I guess no 4-packet of tickets being handed out to the Astros, damn it. Also, Yvette says, stop changing the lineup. Too many inconsistency games by changing our fucking lineup. Loop needs to be DFA'd. Philip Baker says, trying to understand why so many fans want to keep Ohtani. Personally, I'd rather spend the money on 3 or 4 proven players. Nothing changes even if we do sign him. That could be what happens. It really could be. I'm not saying they're going to invest $500 million into this team. Hell no. That's not the Angel way. That's not the Artie way. But you can get a very good. You can get a Shane Bieber. You can get the guy from Milwaukee. You can get some other hitters to fill the void. But it's going to be always compared to what Ohtani does after this. The only reason why the Angels are keeping Loop is because Artie has a cuck addiction in which he loves seeing a team losing and being embarrassed. People just love Ohtani. Yeet says, once again, pitching is the problem. I thought we were moving on from this curse. I don't think so, Yeet. Again, in a game like this, you can say, okay, well, he put us in a bad spot. We gave up. I do agree that the 2-out hits got to stop. The 2-strike hits got to stop. The not being able to get a shutdown inning has got to stop. You cannot work your ass off to scrape across at least 1 run or 2 runs or 3 runs and give that shit right back. You got to go out there with a World Series mentality and get out of that inning as quickly as possible. Stop dicking around in the strike zone. And challenge hitters, but they don't do that. They give it right back, and it's so frustrating. So on that hand, you can blame the pitching. But on the other hand, you got to blame the hitters because they had all those innings to come up with a rally, and they couldn't do it. Now, you could blame the umpire tonight for screwing them over in the 6th inning or 7th inning, but you still had outs after that to get something done, and he didn't do it. Phil Nevin is in love with Aaron Loop. Also, Minapi says even the radio broadcast announcers were surprised that Loop somehow survived the bullpen's restructure. Like there better be some ultra-level pitching than that they're hiding. Callie says Angels defeated by runners in scoring position and legally blind home plate umpire. Again, my dad has one eye. And he has 70% of the other eye that works. And he saw that in real time and called that ball 4. He loves to call pitches, and he called ball 4. Whether he would have did that behind home plate, it's another story. But you're live, and if he's your robo-ump calling it from New York, he's calling ball every time. And that's not his bias. That's right there. My dad, when the Angels get a call, he's like, man, that was like a foot off the base. That should have been a strike. My dad's unbiased when it comes to that, but he'll say hey, well, hey, I'm glad it worked our favor. But again, it's right there, dude. I don't know, man. Marty says umpire behind the plate rings up umpire Hernandez and says, hold my beer, watch me screw the Angels over. Also, Yeet says Angels fans don't want to hear this, but if we fail to make the playoffs, it's time for a full-scale rebuild. We have a good young core and plenty of veteran talent to flip. And you know what? That could be the button we press. It really could. Also, when are they going to fire Phil Nevin? Not quite yet. I think he plays through the season. Callie also says one of the most biased displays of officiating I've ever seen. The Ward strike 3 being the worst part of Astros consistency, got edges, and even below the zone accountability or robots, please. The Box Sport podcast says, I was sitting there texting my brother and said, I've said it before, if Detmers doesn't get run support early, he starts making his own, getting in his own head and starts making his mistakes and giving up a 3 spot. You know what? That's a great call because he has said it before. The box score has come out there, Randy, and been like, hey, man, look, this guy is his own worst enemy. So that's a good take. Rice says, instead of paying the dominatrix for torture and pain, I just turn on the Angels TV and watch the Angels game. You just turn on Bally's, listen to the same do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do, the same commercials too, over and over and over. So that's torture in itself. And then when you actually got to watch the game, what is our safe word? Do we have a safe word, people? So if we're tied down to the table and the dominatrix is Bally's Sports and we're watching the Angels, and that's causing us severe pain, what is the safe word? Ohtani for Corbin, Carroll, and Zach Gallen. It's not bad. ToddFox, slow down. You're butchering my sentence, making me sound dumb. Well, excuse me. Sorry. XNC says, whatever Detmers goes through the opponents, the lineup the second and third time, he's always getting figured out. Sort of like my boy Suarez. It's either Detmers or Matt Wise who just don't know how to adjust. I agree. Let's see. The cuck comment was comedy right there. Yes, it was. Lakers fan says people should stop saying Loop should learn Japanese. Nobody wants a 35-year-old has-been here. then where does he go? XNC says every time Loop is in, automatically runners on base and runs are given up, and we still use him in a game after game. I don't get it why this organization's so infatuated or with totally useless liability. Again, Grillmaster says the offense is a problem. Bases loaded, 1 out, 2 strikeouts. Detmers can only pitch and do so much. I'd argue that Detmers pitched his best start of the season. No, well, that's a terrible argument. He pitched better in a couple other starts. Man says we are third in the AL for getting players in the running scoring position, and our average is shit. Also, kudos to arguing Joe wouldn't have. Oh, geez, here we go. Greg says Vegas money line on tomorrow's game is 1.54 or minus 154 for the Astros. Ohtani is going to get no run support tomorrow. I totally agree with that. Fernando says if you think we are going to do a full rebuild and you think we are maintaining this young core, you are full of it. The young pieces are literally the only ones of trade value. Hayes says Angels need a damn therapist for all these players that are getting in their own heads. Seems like Gio possibility Neto won't be needing any therapy because they can actually do it. Vetter says safe word is squiddy poo. Oh, how dare you? How dare you?
How dare you?
That should be it. Kathy's cookies is a safe word. I like that one good. Whatever happened to Ryan Aguilar, Todd, do you know? I have no idea. In Detmer's no-hitter, he only had 2 strikeouts. Yeah, he was pitching to complete and utter contact. Also, Ohtani is frustrating to watch at the plate during a pressure situation. It's your boy says a mutual on Twitter said that he hopes we start to lose more because they will start to make serious changes. But I told him we've been in the same ball club for years. Nothing will change when Artie is gone. ToddFox can read 69 words a minute. Jeez. I can't type it. I know that. I could barely, because again, people want me to learn Spanish. I can barely fucking speak English. Ohtani is a great slugger with around a 260 batting average. He's not a great hitter. That's just my opinion. Best game of the season. What the fuck? Shut up, Grill. Yeah, I have to agree with that one. Halos Forever says, I get it, but there's 2 of the best players that leave 6 runs in the real and we had real pitching tonight too. 6 runners on base. Yeah, and I will say that as far as that Detmers being one of his best starts of the year, I have to play this for you, Grill. I'm sorry, but you deserve it. Play it. And what? See, you're saved by the goddamn computer. You know that? I had you. I had it all.
What you just said is one of the most
See? It just ugh. Screw you, soundboard. It just had a serious brain fart. Hold on. I'm getting to you. Let's set that one up all over again. That's the beauty of doing shit live. Sometimes I can actually make this work really good, and other times it's ass. So there you go right there. Oh, Grillmaster, that was a terrible take. I agree.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I've ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
I love you, Grill. I love you. Hola, Todd Fox, ¿cómo estás? I could say something like that. Nothing is going to change until Artie Moreno sells. We had our fucking chance. Let's see. Also, it's your boy getting some love by Native. Also, Yeet says, who on the Angels generally has a chance of being on an all-star team? Well, again, we'll get 2, and that's Trout and Ohtani. Anyone else? Crickets. You have to comment in little sentences so Todd can read. You know what? That is not a winning comment.
I'm by winning. I win here, I win there.
Yes, I do. I win here, I win there. And that's not a honk comment either, asshole. Love you, Vetter.
How dare you?
Also, Billy Madison is such a good movie. Hate to say it, but Trout isn't very likely won't very likely be whom he used to be. He is definitely on the downward slide right now. After a loss, we can always be comforted by some Savage Garden on the podcast. Zach Neto is an all-star. Oh, my God. The Savage Garden thing is taking off. I need to make that into a soundbite because if I can make it into a soundbite, it won't be that bad. And I just got hit the other day for playing more than, I think it was 15 seconds. So I can only play like 15 seconds because if I play more than 15 seconds, YouTube gets their panties in a bunch and they're like, you're playing music, how dare you? You're making money off of us. Ah! And it turns into that stupid shit. So screw you, YouTube. Hold on. I'm going to get to a spot where he comes in and he's singing to all of us Angel fans. He's looking dead in the computer, right back at you or on your phone or wherever or however you're watching it, even if you're doing it on a TV. Check this out. He's going to tell you this.
I'll be your dream, I'll be your wish, I'll be your fantasy.
You know what? We've done Buttercup games before. You know, we've done Buttercup games before where it's like you lose in the later innings. You know, you had to lead and you blew it. Well, these games now, when they have games like this where we're beating ourselves, pitching good but can't score a runner in scoring position, they're Savage Garden games. I'm going to make that a thing. They're Savage Garden things. That's just how it's going to be. We're going to play some fucking Savage Garden, and we'll mix it up too. If there's a part in the song that you think that fits, you're a Savage Garden fan, and I don't know why you would be, but if you know their music and there's a particular part in any one of their songs, I don't care if it's a B-side song, and for all those youthful kids out there that are watching, what's the B-side? They used to be when there's a tape. You used to buy these tapes and put them in cassette players, and then the A-side always had your best music. Like growing up, you had a Tupac tape, and you're like, oh man, all the fire shit's on the front. Or you have Metallica, best songs in the front. The B-side would be all the music that doesn't make the radio. That's not your good music, but you think it's still really cool if you're a super fan of that set band or the artist or whatever. So again, that's what a B-side song is. So I don't care if it's a song that nobody knows about, because that's what a B-side song is too, from that particular band. But you find me some good lyrics for a Savage Garden thing, and I'll make a freaking soundbite out of it, and it'll be a Savage Garden night. We'll make it a thing. I knew I loved Otani, but the Angels fan lied. Angels about to make me buy an Xbox and say, fuck it, I'll do it myself. And that's how it used to be when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I'd play Triple Play 98. I'd play all those baseball games, Ken Griffey Jr. baseball, fix the rosters to how they are, put the names in if they're not copyrighted, and play the Angels and take them to the fucking World Series myself. And after 0-2, I'm like, this is a first of many to come, baby. And after that, it was like, well, time to play the show and take the Angels back to the World Series, because you can't do it right now. You just can't. Why is Savage Garden in the show? I was a big fan. I'm just saying. Someone brought up Savage Garden the other day, and they thought it was a metal band. I'm like, no, let me educate you. Also, Stu, the umpire is still getting the love. In 98 was still shitting myself. July 1st, Savage Garden night. Seriously, you have to be the number 2 of the best players in baseball, and they both strike out. 6 runners left in scoring position. Yeah, 12 guys. See, Justin Option brought it up, so he's gonna get credit for it. So what I'm gonna do, because my voice is shot from yelling up at the umpire, I'm barely getting through this one right now. I've got another podcast to do for the Angels, and I got to talk more about this team. Yay! But I can't drink and stuff, and I wanted to take phone calls tonight, but I will ask you guys to be patient with me, and we'll take phone calls, and I'll pin the number. And if you've never called and you're tired of hearing the same phone calls, which aren't bad, but I'm saying you want to mix it up. Hold on. I didn't say call. But if you're tired of hearing the same phone calls, call next time tomorrow and make your voice heard on here. Because you could always put it and I'll read all the comments. But yeah, if you want to get on here and, we'll start posting what I want to do is do the phone call of the week or whatever like that. But I appreciate that, Juan. Juan's a homie right there. Juan's up in Toronto and a big Angels fan in Toronto. I know a lot of you are listening out of market, so I really appreciate that. Juan is the homie right there. So I want everyone to be nice to him, especially because that dude's a good dude. Like, no slander on Juan ever, because he always comes with it, always comes with good takes. So, and he always is on our page. He's one of the first to actually like our page back in the day when we first started. But everyone, I appreciate everyone that's been on here. And for today, my voice is shot, but I have to do a podcast with Fernando and Courtney, and I'm actually 15 minutes late because I told them I was going to do it 45 minutes. So no calls tonight, but I will take calls tomorrow and moving forward. So some nights you'll get something like that where I'm pinched, and I kind of am, but I'm already at the hour mark. That's because I had a lot to say, and I appreciate you guys for being there, and also for participating. Instead of I'll take the call tomorrow. But I appreciate everyone being patient and listening to my rant. You guys had a hell of a lot of good comments tonight, and this is what the Angels fans need as an outlet. I'm glad to be part of it because that's how I freaking get them off my chest, and that's how I battle through these tough times. And when they play like shit, when we know they could win and they're much better than what they show. So again, everybody have a good rest of your night. Let's do it tomorrow, but I'm not optimistic. Farmer's on the mound, and Farmer does Farmer things. So go Angels, maybe, kind of. Let's do it. Good night, everybody.